Alright, last we left off, we were on tanked up trouble and getting our ass kicked, so hopefully everything goes okay. It's a pretty great image online if you look for Link playing the NES cartridge. Oh god, bees. So I don't necessarily need to play this on 3DS Virtual Console, but I like giving Nintendo money for the excellent games they've made. Probably should have held off longer on that. That last fuel I got. He's gonna be pushing it. There it is. No! Shit. Hopefully we didn't need the tire for longer. Fingers crossed. Probably could have delayed that a teensy bit too. Oh, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. Didn't think about that. Alright, prepared. We'll see if I die to one. I'm already just upset about the existence of bees. How you been, Prop? You're saying you're at an exciting time in uni, right? Okay. Let's try to keep this as long as possible. I don't know that it's actually going to matter, but just in case. It's okay, 3DS, you can handle it. Let's not mess around with that this time. I can just jump up and get it anyway. Oh god, these are only 1 unit of fuel. No! No! Bummer. Really? Oh man, have you played No, not the beast! Not the beast! Have you played Donkey Kong Country 2? I think Donkey Kong Country 2 is one of the greatest games ever made. Like, this one's super good too, but just the mechanics, the puzzle design, I think they really iterated well on this first one. I like it better than the first game, and the first game is still super good. I never actually played Donkey Kong Country 3. I think I rented it once and only played it for a few hours. I remember that one not being as good. And then, like, Donkey Kong 64 is an okay game, but it's one of those, like, Banjo-Kazooie, collect the Fooble Fopples type games. It doesn't really have a lot of substance. It does have Lanky Kong. I never played Tropical Freeze. It's the one with Cranky Kong. Where they're like, how should Cranky Kong control? Well, let's basically make him play like, one sec. Oh no! Ah, I thought I jumped on the tire. Beat this eventually. They're like, we should have him control just like Scrooge McDuck in DuckTales. No, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! I feel like that's going to trigger a lot on this stage. Yeah, right. It was still a good game. I think I had that because it came with the expansion port for the Nintendo 64, and you needed that to play Majora's Mask. But I really liked the game. It was okay. It just wasn't Donkey Kong Country, you know? Well, I guess the big problem is that Rare isn't involved with any of it, right? Like, Rare got bought by Microsoft, and then Microsoft did nothing good with them at all. Harder than it looks. DKC3 takes longer to pick up. Gotcha. Yeah, which is basically like, let's play all the games that Rare made without us at the helm. I know they did like a shitty remake of Conker's Bad Fur Day where they actually censored stuff, where like the 64 version of Conker's Bad Fur Day, the Nintendo game, is more raunchy than one on a Microsoft system. That was crazy to me. I do need to play through Conker's Bad Fur Day all the way sometime. So that one's a full charge. It's good to know. Hey, Arrow. Thanks, welcome. It's good to have you. Nice. Okay, we made it further than we've made it before. And we've got full energy. God! The stress is real. God. Oof! I almost died in the part where I shouldn't. I have no business dying. Yeah, right, Spiky. That's an interesting game. So I played it blind on stream.
First try.
As part of like a Nintendo 64 free play day. So I only played it for a couple hours to kind of check it out. And it's super raunchy, but like it's satire, right? So it's one of those things. It's kind of like how a lot of Grand Theft Auto is satire. And if you don't know that, you know, you kind of get the terrified parent effect of like, oh, it's a game about killing prostitutes. And it's like, well, there's kind of some social commentary about doing that. It's the same thing with Conker's Bad Fur Day. It's taking all those things that are bad about video games and turning them up to 11. And it's pretty funny in the process. Yeah, I'm excited for Yooka-Laylee. I'm curious how, since we haven't really seen a like Collect the Fooble Fobbles game in a long time, I'm interested to see how that genre will change with, you know, modern game design. Oh shit. Precepts and lessons that have been learned. I think maybe there's another game that I just haven't played, but the most recent Collect the Fooble Fobbles game I've played is probably Psychonauts, right? That was like 2008? Is that right? Womp womp. Did they cut him after that whole controversy? Yeah, I thought so. The Tiddlywinks. Interesting. Psychonauts was 2005. Jeez. Well, the PS2 was a system for a really long time, wasn't it? And then so was the PS3. I feel like we cycled through new consoles pretty quickly from the NES up through the PS2. And then it kind of slowed down after that. Don't know if I did Poison Pond. I forget the order of the stages. I'm definitely past the easy part of this game. I think we did the Ice World, which I remember having a ton of angst about when I was a kid. Because it takes so long to get to a save point, and it's fairly likely that you're gonna make a mistake and lose your progress, right? Yes, Diddy, I hear you. Maybe if I go through here, I'll go to the other side. Cog. Oh, you can set barrels. Oh shit! Okay, you can set TNT barrels down, but they blow up. Good to know. Misty Mine. Isn't it funny when that happens? That happens really frequently in Dark Souls, where like someone could not be super great at the game, but they might just like connect with a certain boss and beat it on the first try. I think there was a boss in Dark Souls 3 that I killed in one shot and didn't think really anything of it. And apparently he's a big pain in the ass for a lot of people. But then I got stuck on another boss and was there forever. Nice. I get those 1-ups, man. Need them in this game. Whew. Yeah, right. How did I do this before? I like the use of the soundtrack in this stage. It's a more subdued version of another Mine song we've heard earlier. This game and Donkey Kong Country 2 have some of the best soundtracks in the history of gaming as well. Okay, I thought so. It looks suspicious having that rope go all the way down there. I think that Donkey Kong Country 2 is better with secrets than this one. Like, the secrets are still cool in this game. Let me see. But they're a little bit more structured in 2. Yeah, that's true. Nice. Claptraps. I love how much, and we talked about this in the last session, but isn't it cool, like, how much they were able to keep from the original Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr.? It's kind of funny, really. Like, okay, so what did this game had? It had barrels. It had these claptrap things. And you build a whole game around that aesthetic. It's pretty neat. Okay, so I think we want to take Funky's flights to get a free heal or save here. Even though we're going to get to her save point really soon. I tend to use Funky as a ghetto save point. Yeah, I agree. I think that's what makes DKC2 the best. That's like the gold standard for me. Outside of Metroidvanias have the best secrets, and they're the most rewarding to explore, I think, in general. But if you're talking about a more, level-based, discrete, challenge-focused platformer like Mario or Donkey Kong Country, I think Donkey Kong Country 2 is the best when it comes to secrets. Mario World's pretty solid too, actually. You gotta give it its props. You guys jump when I jump. Suspicious bananas. I get there's one of these on-off levels where, like, if you go left, you just skip the level. Yeah, Desert Island console. I totally agree, dude. Oh, I see. It's turning the lights on and then they top off. Gotcha. I think the Super Nintendo had the highest quantity of the highest quality games. Like, it had very little shovelware. It did exist. But, like, most of the games for the Super Nintendo were at least okay. And it really just has a lot of the best games ever made in a lot of categories. I love the 16-bit graphical style. I mean, I grew up with the Atari and the NES originally, but SNES still has a place in my heart. That's part of why I bought that Super Famicom in Japan. was super cheap. Super Famicom and like 16 of my favorite games. Each game was like $6 a piece. You buy the American versions of those, you're looking at like 50 to 150 bucks each. Go. There's a bunch of games that I've played enough times that it doesn't matter. Also, some of them literally don't matter. Like, there's almost no text in Mega Man X, so you can get Rockman X and just play it, it's fine. Shit, should have been moving through this section faster. There we go. Ah. Ooh, earns. Far back too, so I didn't even get a free kill on this guy. Oh. It's a bummer, man. That's a bummer. Dude, Matt, if you and Lisa end up visiting Japan, just go to Akihabara. Just get a Super Famicom. Like, they're cheap, and the games are all cheap. You can just buy them there. Oh, shit. Oh, really? It's easy to mod a US SNES? Yeah, I really like those colored buttons, Yukupo. Just, it stands out, they look nice over the gray and then 2 shades of purple. I guess they were trying to make it look less kiddie. That was a big, like, fad at the time in Nintendo of America. It's part of why Earthbound got such atrocious reviews in the West. They're saying it was Fisher-Price McDonald's Playland game because it was bright and colorful. I saw an official review from, like, a respected publication, too. This wasn't, like, an online forum because they didn't really exist at the time. That said something like, there's not even any blood in this game. Oh my god. 90s audiences. Keep moving. That one's a little bit more forgiving than I thought it was originally. There we go. Speed. Ah, that troll claptrap right at the end. Oh, nice, Paranormal. Yeah, I know, right? How many of them beat it and aborted the alien fetus in the final boss fight? They mentioned it a bit in the Legends of Localization book that I won't shut up about. The Western reviews for Earthbound. And how, like, modern reviews of the game are very different. I wonder how I get to that bonus level at the very beginning of the stage. Almost lost him immediately. So this is a new mechanic, the, like, arrow platforms. It's kind of cool that they just introduce it. There's a lot of different ways these levels play out. There's often some sort of unique mechanic that you're playing around, like the stage we just did where we had to keep the lights turned on. It's pretty different. It kind of reminds me of the Super Mario 3D World, Super Mario Galaxy developer. It's kind of his approach to level design is like each level should have some new discrete mechanic. Open by showing that mechanic, then, you know, expand on the mechanic. Like, show how a different way it could be used. Have some sort of twist, and then finish the level using the mechanic, which usually in Mario involves... getting to the star at the end, or getting the flagpole. It's a really neat style of level design. These guys are called Clubbas, is that right? Or is that the burlier looking dudes with the mohawks? Shit. Just holding the run button.
not the bees! Not the bees!
Give me troubles, man. These bees on these streets. So I can kind of defend the front of Diddy holding this. Aha! That was a big risk there. Then I died any. I know, right? All bees' deaths are worth a bees. Oh, I see. How that's supposed to work. My bad. Playing around with enemies being on top of them when you first reach them. I really want them to make a Donkey Kong Country maker. Like a Zelda maker would be cool, but I feel like this game would be perfect for that. Can you switch, please? There you go. Nope, not worth a few bananas. Those guys might be clovers. Yeah, right? I don't know if it's possible without Rare, man. I mean... So... Oh god. I'm just hosed now, right? Oh, it's a bummer. Oh wait, I may have been able to scroll far enough off screen and bring him back. Maybe if Nintendo made one first party, because I don't think that they've made a first party Donkey Kong game, have they? Since, like, the original Donkey Kong. Yeah, I remember that, Arrow. The Mega Man Maker game. This was around the time that Inafune got fired, right? Oh, that's right, that game was retro, wasn't it? Wow. Still one of the craziest stories in gaming to me. Nintendo outsources Metroid to an unknown company in Texas, and they turn it into a first-person shooter, and it's fucking amazing. People were so freaked. Okay, we gotta have Donkey Kong out for this section. There's too many fat enemies that Diddy can't kill. I guess the reason the little wombat guys are here, beaver guys, is to keep you from carrying a barrel through this whole section. Because they're trivial to avoid. They don't make this part any harder, other than that you can't use barrels anymore. Hey Marty, are you so furry? Poor Mega Man, I know, right? And then Mighty Number 9 wasn't even good. Just bummers all around. There we go. Oof! Shit. Yeah, this one's kind of hard to sight read. We'll be okay, but... There we go. Shit. Oh man, saved by a falling beaver. Really? Yeah, that's such a bummer, man. It had the potential, like, I'm really hopeful that Bloodstained, the Castlevania version of Mighty Number 9, is actually good. It's looking promising so far. I think Mighty Number 9 was just an example of how not to do a Kickstarter, right? Yeah, right. After there've been several really successful Kickstarter attempts. But I went to a panel at PAX where they said that you should kickstart games, you should finish games. You shouldn't, like, expect to get all of your funding from crowdfunding. You should use that to collect a little bit of extra money at the end. Also, I just noticed that the bananas are conveyance for when you should be throwing the barrels there. Maybe that'll cut it? Jeez. There we go. One more douchebags at the exit. Hooray! Undertale was kickstarted. Oh, that's right, because they're all in the credits, right? Yeah. Yeah, no kidding, Yukipo. There's one idea I want to impart into folks. There's a lot of ideas. One of the ideas I'd like to impart is that, you know, anything you're not familiar with is probably way more complicated than you assume it is, right? We were talking yesterday with Zelda Breath of the Wild and like enemy design and world design, like you can't, you know, why don't they just make another character, make another enemy you can fight? Like, how much work goes into enemy makes? We've been thinking about, like, you know, setting up voice acting for a bokoblin. Sure, they don't say anything, but they've got a variation of different grunts, and, like, just thinking about the test plan for testing all of the grunts that a new bokoblin would have to make. Not even considering, like, animation rigging and what happens when the bokoblin is next to a spear versus a sword, what happens when there are 6 weapons around it, which weapon does it go for. Lots of money. Yeah, I really like the enemy variety in Breath of the Wild as well. It's good. It's not really about that anyway. It's more about the world, which is superb. We'll see, we might get some more in the DLC too. Shit. I think once he's in the top left like that, I just have to accept that I'm not going to be hitting him. Yeah. Should be fine as long as I don't try to attack him when he's out of range like I was before. Hit his beak, it doesn't count. You gotta hit him in the head. Shit. There we go. Lucky timing. I know, right? I'm projecting 100 hours to finish it. Oh man, I love this theme. I didn't realize we were already at King K. Rool. Oh shit. Thought it was this early. Gangplank Galleon is one of my favorite songs, like favorite boss themes in the history of video games. It's so good. King K. Rool boss fight in DKC 2 is really cool too. You got all those crazy abilities, the one that reverses your controls. Coming back the other way. Might come 3 times this time, I'm not sure. That does come 3 times. I even thought it was coming. Nice. Credits: Coding Claptrap, Characters Crusha, Coloring Critter, Concept Clump, Commander King K. Rool. The end? I love that. That's wonderful. Shit. Fake credits. It sucks that I lost Donkey because I was doing really well on the first attempt there. Oh no! Bummer. Right. Alright, we got it this time. We get to hear more Gangplank Galleon. That's what counts. I love that drum fill too. It's like as satisfying as the "In the Air Tonight" drum fill, right? Like you don't listen to that song for any reason other than the drum fill. It's very cathartic. Shit. And this one is 3 times. Nice. Yeah, that's right, they only do the credits thing once. Oh no! Shit. Okay. I gotta find where to stand. Like a safe place to stand right when he phase transitions. Because I'm doing it wrong right now. Oh, cool. Perfect. Yeah, in case I finish early, which is likely, Matt, I'll just bank any hours you have remaining, or any time remaining, so that you get a longer sub-block stream next time. If you guys want to see Lisa's blind playthrough of Final Fantasy VI as she and Matt play it co-op, you should check out twitch.tv/paranormal echoes. I'll be throwing my hosts when we're done here. Ooh. Yeah. He's got to take out the invaders, man. Here we go. Staying close to him at the start to figure out what kind of jump he's doing. Okay, perfect. Whew, that was close. Whew. Close again. All this for bananas, right? I love that fake credits part. I totally forgot about that. Well done, Donkey, my boy. Who'd have thought a young whippersnapper like you could have beaten that bunch of no-good Kremlings. You made an old man proud. I like that they have that, right? Go and look in your hoard. I think you'll be in for a surprise. This is my favorite reason to play the game, right? Like, Donkey Kong's already badass and already has a giant cave full of bananas. If I'd been playing, I'd have found everything. There's a bunch of bonus rooms I didn't find. I never saw the animated series, I don't think. Was it good? Still need to get it, Serp. Sorry, it's on my task list. What an easy battle! And do my impression of it until I get it on there. Naughty, clever, Necky, Army. Yeah, Cranky is the original Donkey. Is he the original Donkey Kong, or is he Donkey Kong Jr.? I can never remember if he's supposed to be Donkey Kong and then the Donkey Kong in the DKC games was Donkey Kong Jr., or if Cranky was Donkey Kong Jr. and Donkey Kong is his son, previously unseen. Really, Aaron Traeger? Dr. Bacon, are you afraid of the dark? Yeah, thanks, Nodovan. Can you shoot me a Discord message too, just so I can add that on there? My mornings have been pretty filled with mortgage stuff. We just did the property inspection this week and was reviewing it and submitting objections to the sellers. Donkey Kong and the OG Donkey Kong is this game's Cranky Kong. Okay, so does that mean that the Donkey Kong with the tie is Donkey Kong Jr.? Rock. Thank you, Nodovan. Appreciate it. Master Necky. Donkey Kong lore. Clearly, Donkey Kong Country 2 is where the timeline splits into the fall of Donkey Kong. Fails to defeat King K. Rool and the world is flooded with bananas. Makes it really hard to get around. Are the Kremlings really owned by, No way, is that true? By Rare? I thought Nintendo had full rights to all this stuff. People were clamoring for King K. Rool and, Smash. I think they made... Did they make a King K. Rool Mii outfit at least? They made a couple characters that people were asking for, but they couldn't make as a concession. Like the Zero costume for the Miis. Nice. Got that Three Stooges slapstick. I did this using one life. Took less than an hour. It's probably possible, isn't it? I said this last time, but I remember I first played this game at Blockbuster. They had a demo station for it, and it blew my mind. This was on the Super Nintendo. I'm like, this is the pinnacle of graphics. It's never going to look better. I also distinctly remember participating in this like Blockbuster tournament. They had a special tournament card for DKC 1 where you were limited in how much time you could play the game. I think you're only allowed to play for like 5 minutes or something, and you had to get as many bananas as you possibly could in that window. And then they scored people. I think they also did a Clay Fighter and a Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters Blockbuster tournament that I did. Cranky the speedrunner. He does his no-hit run. So we're about 20 minutes under Matt. I'll make sure that that's credited to you for your bank for your next sub-block for whatever game you pick. Hey Marty. You so furry. Original Donkey Kong creator. You so sleepy. Cool. Thanks everybody. I'll give you guys an update on what's coming up next. And we'll throw a host over to Lisa and Matt for their Final Fantasy VI playthrough.